Everyone knows Sennheiser, this company. One of the first headphones that I ever owned was the Sennheiser HD600, and it is one of the most ubiquitous audio company around, spanning the use from professional all the way to the audiophile, including classics such as the HE1. The company, however, recently sold off its consumer business division to this company called Sonova, which does hearing aids and whatnot. Where Sonova will take Sennheiser 2, it is a question and no one really knows for sure. But today we're here to talk about the Sennheiser IE400 Pro. Now, this is a super chonk show. Welcome everyone, and I'm very glad to see you guys back this week. So now let's talk about some of the technologies that the IE400 Pro uses. The IE400 Pro uses a 7mm dynamic driver that Sennheiser claims to have its true response system that allows for music to be reproduced without any distortion. I personally really like a single dynamic driver, as they are basically crossoverless that lends to a very cohesive sound with little to no time alignment problems that can affect multiple driver earphones. IE400 Pro build quality. The IE400 is basically made from plastic. There is no going around it. This review unit is in a smoke black colorway, and I like how it looks. But I'm a little bit concerned about the use of plastics in this case. This earphone feels rather light, with the hand feel that I should say that I'm a little bit worried should you use them a little bit too casually, i.e. carelessly, right? It might get damaged. Even the nozzle is also made from plastic. It looks rather plain and uninspired, to be honest with you, but it is made in Germany though, and that should give you some comfort with regards to quality. The IE400 Pro uses the uncommon Pentagon ear connector that makes cable swapping almost impossible. The connectors though feel really solid. They don't really turn like MM6, but it's just a very solid, tight connection. Cables have this memory wire, but they are not intrusive when you wear them, and they are quite pleasant to use. At the end of it is a 3.5mm jack that is shaped like a cube rug. So every time I just wiggle them a bit, it looks like we're moving, right? And this strain relief is actually quite thick, and I think that the cable feels rather sturdy. Next, let's talk about the fit of the IE400 Pro. Now, the fit of the IE400 Pro is classic Sennheiser. It is very comfortable because the earphone is so light, and it's not only supported by the ear tips when you put them in your ear, it's also supported by the cable. So there is no strange angles that dig into your ear while wearing them. I can wear them easily for long hours with no issue. Next, let's talk about the sound of the IE400 Pro. I would classify the IE400 Pro to be a neutral monitor IEM. It leans slightly warm rather than the usual analytical, cold nature of monitoring earphones that is designed for monitoring. Bass of the IE400 Pro is rich and punchy. It has decent speed and decay. Details and resolution is also really good for the price point. But there is one point that I need to point out about the IE400 Pro's bass. One aspect that I did notice is that there is a bit of wooliness with regards to mid-bass, and it is slightly diffused. This might affect soundstage as it clouds the background a little bit. However, for folks who enjoy this sort of mid-bass bump signature, I can see it making a earphone a little bit more engaging to listen to. The IE400 Pro also does extend slow, but I find that the extension takes a backseat compared to the small mid-bass bump, as it will be a bit more noticeable. So next, let's talk about mid-range. Mid-range is the highlight of the IE400 Pro. This is as it should be, as the main reason for this earphone's existence is that it is a monitoring earphone, where the most common use would be to monitor voices. Mid-range has a good balance of tonality and texture. It has good details with just the right amount of higher overtones that allow them to sound more three-dimensional rather than flat. It is sweet with detail with just a touch of liquidity. Mid-range is also just a hair warmer than neutral and is quite an engaging listen. Moving on, let's talk about treble. The IE4000 Pro has treble that extends well, but not to astronomical heights. They do not have the kind of airy presentation that you expect with earphones that can extend really high, but they do provide enough overtones for vocals to sound natural with a nice 3D edge to them. Cymbals are also clear and crisp. It is a rather comfortable listen as there is no grating higher frequencies to grate on your ears over the long term. So these earphones are really tuned to be quite comfortable to listen. It's okay in the short term, but it's fantastic in the long term where the high frequencies will start to make you feel a bit fatigued. This has none of that. And of course, now moving on to soundstage. We'll start off with the usual width and height. The width and height of the IE400 Pro is above average. They will not win awards for being the widest or the tallest sounding earphone, but they are definitely very competent. In terms of size, I would think of it as a small live venue rather than a large concert hall. It really does sound nice and intimate. Not the biggest, but it still suffices. And next, moving on to depth. Depth is where I feel the IE400 Pro suffers slightly. Now, because there is a small bump in the mid bass that causes a little bit of cloudiness with regards to depth perception. Music does not sound like it extends too far in the music, and separation, however, is still really excellent. Next, let's talk about positioning. We'll start with positioning with regards to the width and height. I think the IE400 Pro has excellent instrument positioning with regards to the width and height. You can easily tell where the instruments are. However, if you're talking about how deep the instrument is or how forward the instrument is, that is where it also suffers a little bit because, as I mentioned earlier, the mid bass actually does kick up a bit of a cloud with regards to that, and it's a bit harder to pinpoint where exactly the instruments are, whether they are forward or backward with regards to the IE400 Pro. Overall, with regards to soundstage, I think the IE400 Pro does an excellent job for its intended purpose. Remember, this is a monitoring earphone, so most of the time you want to keep the soundstage a bit smaller, a bit more compact, so you can hear everything in closer proximity, and it's easier for the person who is using it to monitor whichever location, whichever spectrum of the sound that they are actually trying to listen for. And just to compare with some other earphones that is quite similarly in price, I will compare the Final Audio E5000. I personally find the IE400 Pro to be very similar to the E5000, however there are some main differences. I find that the IE400 Pro is a bit more concentrated in the mid-range versus the E5000. The E5000 has a bit more of an emphasis with regards to the sub-bass, which allows it to have a bit more open sounding soundstage. Which to get will really depend on you. If you like an intimate, tight sounding IEM, go with the IE400. But if you want a slightly warm earphone that has a really wide soundstage, you can consider the E5000. And with that, let's move on to the conclusion. At the end of the day, we need to understand the main purpose of the IE400 Pro's existence. It serves to be a monitor for professionals. And it also does this job extremely well. You can actually monitor voices very well in a professional setting. And because of that, you're actually not looking for an ultra spacious soundstage, but rather to make sure that there is nothing funky going on in the mix. Having a tighter soundstage can actually make this job a little bit easier, as you can easily identify which section of the mix is clearly funky and you can correct it. Treble is also adequate but not super prominent, and I think this is to the benefit of the IE400's purpose. Now, for audiophiles, you would like a very prominent treble where everything's sparkling and crystal clear, but when you want to use it as a monitor for long periods of time, it's actually beneficial if treble is tuned down a little bit so you can actually use these monitors longer without feeling fatigued. And with that, my name is Kenneth, and thank you very much for watching the Super Chomp Show. I hope you like the IE400 Pro review, although I would really like to review the IE900, which is all the rage these days, but alas, unfortunately, I'm unable to get my hands on one at the moment. But should they become available, I will do a review on it as well. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and press the bell icon to be notified about these new videos. I've actually changed my upload schedule. I usually upload on Friday evenings, but right now I'm changing it to a Saturday evening. I think that works best for everybody. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the like and subscribes. I hope to see you guys soon, and preferably in person. Thanks guys. See you next time.